Okay, so I wanted to show you my makeup today. I have some raised acne going on, and I want to start out by saying, like, texture is texture. You can camouflage it, you can kind of like hide the coloring of it, but you're not going to make something that's raised flat. You just can't do that. That is the texture of your skin, but like I said, you can camouflage it with doing some different methods. So I want to kind of show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the smudge brush, and I am a picker. It's the worst, but it's who I am. So I'm going to take my smudge brush and I'm going to go in with Aspen Contour. So what the Aspen Contour is going to do, it's going to mute the redness that I have. And then I will kind of color correct them a little bit more later. So I'm just going over it, just like I said, to mute the redness. And yes, if you see pillows behind me, I'm doing my makeup on my bed. It's that kind of day. My girls have been sick. I have been sick. My girls are finally at school, so mama needs to just lay in bed, but needs to refresh this face. And then I just have this little thing that I keep picking at. I really don't need the Aspen Contour for it, but since I'm already using the smudge brush, I'll go ahead and do it. Okay, so that's the first part that I'm doing to color correct that. I also want to share this awesome trick that I have. So this is Cocoa Butter Formula Skin Therapy Oil. If your makeup, especially being in the colder months, is getting a little hard, take a little drop of this oil, which obviously like one little pinch of oil, and drop it in your cream, and I will show you how well it's going to do. Okay, but first I'm gonna start out, and I'm still only gonna use one layer of makeup because outside of those areas, my skin's not terrible. So I'm gonna start out with my contour, and actually I'll show you the drops, or the drop on that. So I'm getting just the teeniest bit. I have a little bit in here. I'm just gonna drop it in my contour. It was 2 drops, but it was in 2 different contours, so we're good. And I'm going to be using the buff brush, and I'm also going to be using the blush and bronzer brush. So I'm gonna use Ash Contour today. So you can see my oil is in there. I'm just gonna take the smaller part of my brush, go in where that oil is, and it's just going to soften it up and really make this application much easier. Okay? And I'm going from the top of my ear about to the end of my eye. Okay? So that is there. We're gonna go on the top of our forehead. It's crazy how that little drop literally softens this up so nicely. It's amazing. All right, on the top of our forehead. And then we're gonna do the same thing here. Top of our ear, about to the end of our eye. Okay? And then whatever is left, I'll just go down my jawline. Just don't forget to blend it. And then I'm just gonna take the side of this brush and put this contour on my nose, okay? And then I'm just kind of evening it out a little bit, and I will blend it later. And then just a teeny bit under my lip. Okay, so we have our contour on. Let's move on. I'm gonna stick with my buff brush, so I'm gonna clean it in my cleaning tile. Everything else in my compact is pretty creamy, so I don't need any other oil. And you don't need to do this every time, just when your cream makeup is a little bit hard. Okay, so I'm gonna use the bigger side of my brush. I am in between shades right now, so I am using June and Candlelit. So getting a little bit on my brush. And over here, I'm just gonna lightly stipple, and then everywhere else I can kind of swipe if I don't have any acne issues or anything that I'm trying to cover. A little bit goes a long way, so keep that in mind. So again, this is a raised pimple. So I can hide it some, but you're not gonna get rid of that texture. I am going to take this underneath my eyes because I always need a little bit of extra help under there since they are dark. I'm just gonna put this, I'm gonna avoid between my brows. And the reason that I'm going to avoid between my brows is because right here, I crease a lot. So I want to apply as little as makeup as possible, but also giving me that coverage. So I'm going to not put anything right there for a second. I'm just gonna make sure to do one layer right there. And now I'm gonna go ahead and move on to my third step. So I'm using the smaller side of the brush, of the buff brush, and I'm gonna go in with, I think this is linen. Nope, it's Moonlit. So I'm gonna use Moonlit under my eyes as my accent highlight. We're gonna put that here, about up to our temple. Here, here. This is what we're gonna put our accent highlight between our brows. I wanna make sure I'm only using one color there because like I said, I crease a lot there. And then I'm just gonna put a little bit between that contour. Now, before I blend that, what I like to do is I like to go ahead and apply my blush color. And let's go ahead and put something on the lips. This is Nude, which is probably my favorite on the lips. Sandstone's one of my favorite too. Okay, so we have that there. I'm gonna go in with Cindy, and I'm gonna use the smaller side of the blush and bronzer brush, and I'm gonna kind of lightly apply that right above my contour. Almost like on top of my contour, okay? And then once I have that there, I'm then gonna go back to my buff brush, make sure it's clean. I'm obsessed with these cleaning tiles. And I'm just gonna blend in my accent highlight. Okay, so we have that blended out. Let's go ahead and blend out our contour. We're gonna use our blush and bronzer brush. Now, depending on where you put your lip and cheek color, will kind of change the shape of your face a little bit. So the higher you like put your lip and cheek color or your cheek color, can make your face appear a little bit more lifted, whereas if you apply it a little bit further down, like by the apples of your cheeks, it can make your face look a little bit rounder. I personally do like a little bit of my lip and cheek color on the apples of my cheeks. So if you watch other Saint artists, like I said, everyone does things a little bit differently, you know, depending on what they're looking for. So there's no right or wrong way. It's just certain things can change. Ooh, let's hope that doesn't fall, can change the shape of your face, but I do like a little bit of that on the apples of my cheeks. Okay, so let's blend out this nose contour. I'm just using the side of my buff brush. And then I'm gonna use the smaller side. Actually, I'm gonna use my finger to do that accent color. And then I'm just gonna look in my mirror here and make sure that everything is blended how I want it, because usually in the phone, you can miss things. Okay, so we have all that blended. I am going to use a little bit of bronzer, but before I do that, let's go back to this baby, which is pretty covered, but if I wanted to try to get it covered a little bit more, which let's see if I have any in my compact, I would just use the shade a little bit darker. And I'm literally just using my finger, or use your smudge brush. And then lightly put that shade that's darker, and then the teeniest bit of your main color over there. And like I said, you can't get rid of the texture, but you can definitely hide it to a degree. All right, so let's move on to our bronzer. I am using a dupe for Bella. I am using Muse Highlight, which is one of my favorites. I'm definitely using my blush and bronzer brush. It's my favorite brush to apply bronzer with. I'm gonna start by putting it on the outsides of the outer corners of my forehead, and I like just to bring it down to about the top of my cheeks. And it's just going to give me some warmth around my face. And then I like to kind of take it down my neck, make sure that that contour on your neck is blended. And then you're gonna go ahead and set your makeup. With either your Stay Spray or whatever setting powder or spray that you use. And you are done.